Now, Pakistan's Prime Minister has been meeting Sri Lanka's President Gotabaya Rajapaksa on the second and final day of his visit. Imran Khan has been discussing joint efforts to fight religious extremism and how to help poorer countries weather the pandemic. Later on Wednesday, Sri Lanka is expected to face strong criticism at the UN Human Rights Council meeting. That's due in part for its failure to bring accountability to those involved in its 25-year-long civil war. Pleased to say, to discuss all of this, I'm joined now by the Sri Lankan Foreign Minister, Dinesh Gunawardena. He's in the capital of Colombo. Foreign Minister, welcome to Al Jazeera. First up, this important visit by the Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan. How satisfied are you with how it went, given the controversy over how he was due to speak in Parliament but then didn't?
Thank you for being in touch. As Foreign Minister and also Leader of the House of Parliament, I could say that the two governments had agreed on health and bubble requirements and the priorities for His Excellency Imran Khan, Prime Minister of Pakistan's visit. He had called on the President of the country, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, and having discussions since yesterday, which have been very fruitful, very friendly, and our relations have been further consolidated in this visit of the Prime Minister, which is the first visit of Head of State to Sri Lanka in the midst of COVID.
Okay, Foreign Minister, as you know, later on Wednesday, Sri Lanka will be facing strong criticism at the UN Human Rights Council meeting, due in part for its failure to bring accountability to those involved in the 25-year-long civil war. And the report says that the government is unwilling, 12 years on, to provide answer to those thousands whose relatives are still missing. What do you say in response to that?
Sri Lanka government has pledged to the UN as well as the Human Rights Commission the programs that we are committed to, and we have begun. Some of the programs are completed, demining lands back to the people and trained, and so many hardcore LTT cadres were trained, over 12,000, and they are all back in their own areas after vocational training.
But Foreign Minister, I have to jump in there because the report is saying, the report says that Sri Lanka is rolling back on the modest reforms that were made, reneging on promises to ensure a justice for the thousands of civilians killed, reneging on those promises for justice. What do you say to that?
Accountability and justice procedures. We have appointed a Supreme Court judge to head the Commission of Inquiry, which was pledged at the last human rights sessions by me. It is all in implementation. The Office of the Missing Person is full in operation, and we have pledged and allocated the funds necessary even for this year. So one cannot understand how these commission officers comes to these conclusions without knowing the ground situation, just to make allegations. It is true we defeated the LTT, one of the deadliest terrorist organizations in the world, but we have all come back to normal. We are a parliamentary democracy. We have a history of 90 years of parliamentary democracy.
The UN Human Rights Council says that you need to address what's happened in the past, and in fact it says that you are in denial about past crimes.
No, there have been exaggerations, and the figures are not what has been brought to the Human Rights Commissioner's report. It's been challenged. Confidential reports released in London makes it very clear that the British numbers are all wrong. We have placed all this before the Commissioner. Everything that has to be placed, even now, by any international body, could come to the human rights procedures that we are following under our Constitution, under the head of a Supreme Court judge, as we pledge to implement. It has started. So one cannot agree to a one-sided, very biased, which is not
Well, it's not just
properly
one-sided, is it? It's several
reports
countries are
by the
involved
High
here. The
Commissioner's
UK,
report.
Canada, Germany, they've all submitted this resolution. It's not just one-sided. It's a combined effort of research.
The resolution is one, but the figures that I'm talking of being the basis of the resolution, none of these countries are able to establish, and they're reversing back on the figures. It is clear, but we still are ready to go into the matter. That is why the President has appointed a commission of inquiry where anyone could place their information or complaints. It's being held, chaired by a Supreme Court judge and representatives who also represent different ethnic groups.
Okay, Foreign Minister, let me just jump in there. The President today was Defense Secretary at the time of the Civil War. His brother was President at the time of the Civil War. It's really not in their interest to investigate war crimes, is it?
We are ready to investigate under our Constitution, and our Constitution has upheld most of the issues right through. Fundamental rights is an enshrined clause in our Constitution. In addition to all that, we have appointed this commission. If anyone wants to come and conduct itself before the commission, any evidence to be brought, any new evidence to be made, Sri Lanka has opened the gates now. The commission is ready to hear whoever says they have. Let them bring the information. Not just keep on saying Sri Lanka is violating, Sri Lanka is violating. We are very much settled down country today. There are no terrorism except for, you know, in 2000, last year, before, on the Easter Sunday massacre that took place. Other than that, terrorism is over in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Democracy is in full operation and development is in operation.
Dinesh Gunawardena, we'll have to leave it there. I do appreciate your time. That's the Sri Lankan Foreign Minister talking to us here on AlJazeera. Thank you.